try to impress anyone.
Back to Just the Guy Reviews. I'm Matt Sula, and today's special presentation is Denis Villeneuve's new Dune 2. Really, I know I'm about 3 weeks after release for this review. However, I did just want to give it some time. I didn't want to come on here and overreact, say it's one of the best movies I've ever seen without thinking about it. I have actually gone back and seen this movie now twice in theaters, once in RPX, which is basically IMAX, and then another time in IMAX. But I can definitively say now this is one of my favorite movies that I've ever seen. It has cracked my top 10. I think this movie is just a spectacle. It's amazing. It's not the greatest acting I've ever seen. It's not the most fleshed out story, not the best screenplay. Although I do love Dune by Frank Herbert. It is really a fascinating book. Very dense. That's why this movie had to be cut into two, about 5 hours long. But it is really, if I have to put in it, it's like an experience. It's almost like you're going to a Universal Studios or Disney, and you're going on like one of those virtual rides. When I sat down in my seat, the Dolby sound was shaking the theater. I was so immersed in what was going on screen. It really is an experience. You're not going going to see this movie and expecting to see storytelling like The Godfather or 12 Angry Men, something like that. You're going to see something that you've never seen before. And that's what this movie is. I've always shit on Star Wars fans for being so obsessed with it. I understand it more for the original Star Wars, The New Hopes, Return of the Jedi's, Empire Strikes Back. When I walked out of this movie is how I imagine they felt leaving the theater. This was something that I've never seen before. I found myself several times during this movie going, how the fuck did they do that? They pulled off some stuff that I was like, wow, did they actually blow that up? That doesn't look like CGI. It was truly, truly incredible. I'd say this is not the best acting I've ever seen. That's not to say that it's not amazing acting. Timothée Chalamet really, really did something special in some of the scenes that he did here. Rebecca Ferguson was just amazing. Zendaya nailed it. Javier Bardem. I mean, these are all just A-tier actors that the fact that we have them in one movie is pretty special. It's almost like a Departed-esque ensemble cast, just stars left and right. What's great about this movie is that it simultaneously is making everyone in it a bigger star, and these stars simultaneously made this a bigger movie. Now, I do think that you do need good actors to tell this story, don't get me wrong. Timothée Chalamet is a perfect Paul Atreides, but the real star of Dune 2 is Denis. Without his direction, this movie is not what it is. It has that feel to it that only he or even like Nolan are able to achieve in these days. What it used to be for James Cameron, Steven Spielberg, like these big, big spectacles with a certain feel that only they can pull off. Music, you have Hans Zimmer, who is basically current day John Williams. Basically, he's, as far as I'm concerned, is the best composer doing it right now. He doesn't necessarily have anything as iconic as John Williams, but he's number two. This is basically, if there were to be a debate for composers for movies, it would be John Williams, Hans Zimmer. It's basically it would be the LeBron, Michael Jordan debate to a lot of people. But the music is so immersing. I've been listening to it nonstop while I've been reading the Dune books, the series by Frank Herbert, which is also a testament to just how great this movie is and how cool of a story it is. It's getting me to just read constantly, which is quite an achievement. But there are going to be a little spoilers going forward in this review. I do want to basically really, really shout out Timothée Chalamet here. Not that he needs a shout out from me. He's already probably the best young actor right now. He's going to be starring in a Bob Dylan biopic coming up soon. No doubt there's going to be a Dune 3. He was incredible in this. He goes from, basically you're watching him go from a young adult into an absolute man. And the way that he I don't know. When you hear him talk in real life, he's got more of a higher pitched voice. He's not very intimidating. He turns it up in a couple scenes in this movie where you're like, oof, that guy is terrifying. He goes from just another guy trying to be part of a clan to an absolute terror of a leader, charismatic leader like a David Koresh or a Charles Manson, that they almost cultivate this group of people into this massive religious following, this just unstoppable cult. It's unbelievable what he's able to do. Not to mention that it's in a made-up language. His big scene where he's basically telling the Fremen, I'm the one you've been waiting for. I'm your Messiah. Like, it's absolutely incredible what Timothée Chalamet is able to pull off. He absolutely turns it up to 11, and this was absolutely a star-making performance. And that scene is actually going to be my winner for best scene of the movie, when he walks through the huge crowd of Fremen and they get that aerial shot of him just walking through and them separating, almost like Moses in the sea, separating the sea. They're just letting him through, and then he has his big speech to, again, tell them, I'm the one that your mother told you about. I'm the one from your nightmares. I am the voice from the outer world. Like, all of this amazing dialogue that hits way harder in this movie than the book. I will say I do think that what Denis did with the script for the movies is better than the book, especially for what you can really put on screen and what's not going to be too weird and confusing for the viewer. Denis did an absolute amazing job, and then Timothy just knocks it out of the park, because this is a scene that could easily be fucked up with the wrong person, and Timothée Chalamet, basically, I'm watching this going, that is Paul Atreides, that is Muad'Dib, that is Usul, all of it. He's just the man in this scene. Best performance, however, is going to be going to Rebecca Ferguson. Without Rebecca Ferguson and her performance in this movie goes nowhere, because she is the Bene Gesserit, she is Paul's mother, she is the Reverend Mother, she is everything that is driving where we're headed for this story, basically continuing the prophecy, making sure that Paul is where he needs to be, making sure that everyone believes that he is the Messiah, he is the chosen one, he is all this. Without her, this movie doesn't work, and she does have a much bigger role in the movie than in the book. Again, another brilliant decision by Denis. The way that what he gets out of Rebecca Ferguson, who is an amazing actress. If you've ever seen Silo, the Mission Impossible movies, Doctor Sleep, she's such a great character actress. She's perfect for this role. The way that what she can do with her eyes, the way she can deliver roles, she was just brilliant in this movie. This line, I'm going to throw a bit of a curveball. I'm not going to be going with the may my knife chip and shatter. I'm not going to be going with a couple other choices that you see a lot of. I don't know why, but for some reason, when Florence Pugh, who is playing Princess Irulan, is talking to the Reverend Mother, Helen, Helen just says one of the coldest lines I've ever heard in a movie, which is the liquidation of House Atreides. And both times I heard that, I was like, whew, whew, just the ether beat should be playing behind her entire speech about that. It's fucking brutal. I don't know why. I think that is such an awesome line. It's a bar and a half. That is definitely my favorite line in this movie. Say earlier that you're not necessarily going to be like wowed by the story that they're telling here in Dune. You're more so going to be like punched in the face repeatedly with the visuals, with the sound, with the vibrations. If you see it in the right theater, it is still just a very, very dense story that there's a lot going on. There's it's basically they keep saying a cautionary tale of charismatic leaders, how religious prophecies can all only basically lead to war, which is basically where this is going. There's a huge like conspiracy aspect that the Bene Gesserit women are just in the shadows. You don't really see them, but they're controlling everything. There's a lot going on here, and I think it is hard to they said forever Dune is basically unadaptable because it's so dense. It probably should be like, I don't know, a 3 to 4 season television show, but what Denis is able to do with Dune 1, Dune 2, they tell pretty much not a perfect story, but it's as good as you're going to get with how much material, and they cut out a lot too. It's, I think, like a 700 something page book. They cut out a lot, and it's still a near 5 hour long story, which is only going to continue. Hopefully, I really hope we're going to be getting Doom Messiah. I know it's already surpassed $500 million in the box office, so there's no way that he's not going to make it. Overall, I do think this is a perfect movie. I gave it a 5 out of 5 on Letterboxd, 100 out of 100. I think this is an absolute spectacle. It has etched its way into my top 10. I do think it is going to take some time, see if it gets into 5. But as of right now, I do think it's at 6. I believe it's at 6 all time for me. Can't wait till it's on a streaming service that I can literally just play it whenever I want and see it however much I would like to just delve even deeper. But Dune 2 is a perfect movie. But let me know what you think of Dune 2. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you have some problems with it? Have you even seen it yet? Be sure to please subscribe to the channel. So that way I do really enjoy making these. I would like to continue making them in the future. Give this video a like so it gets a little more exposure. And leave a comment. Again, let me know what you thought about the movie. Till next time, guys, this has been my review of Dune Part 2. Peace.